Hare Krishna. On the sacred occasion associated with Sripad Ramanujacharya, let's contemplate on his extraordinary contribution in the legacy of Bhakti that we all have inherited. Ramanujacharya is one of the founders of the pioneering acharyas of the four sampradayas, the Sri Sampradaya. Now, Ramanujacharya appeared at a very pivotal moment in Indian history. Prior to him, Vaishnavism had not been systematized, at least in recent historical memory. Prior to the advent of Kali Yuga, yes, definitely Vaishnavism was there. But after that, as Kali Yuga spread more and more, the various non-devotional systems of thought spread across the world. In India, there was ritual Smarta Brahmanism, there was ritual Brahmanism, there was Buddhism, Jainism, then there was impersonalism, Advaitavad, which came up, and it all just kept spreading. So now there were some devotees here and there, and they did inspire people a lot, but they were isolated. In the Sri Sampradaya itself, there were prior to Ramanujacharya great saints who were called the Alvars, and the Alvars date over a great period in history. 12 Alvars are there, but they were not systematizers. They wrote poetry. They led inspiring lives of devotion, but they did not systematize Vaishnavism. On the other hand, Shankaracharya had come and he had systematized Advaitavad, and Advaitavad had spread far and wide. And Advaitavad's stronghold on Indian society was stronger than what is the stronghold of science on today's society. Science, people, when they want to see if something is intellectually acceptable, they ask, is it scientific? So like that, at that time people would ask, any philosophy that is to be intellectually acceptable, that has to be Advaitic. It was in such a time that Ramanujacharya appeared, and he, according to the tradition, is said to have lived a phenomenally long life, more than 100 years. And during those years, he performed many wonderful pastimes. But his enduring legacy was that he systematized Vaishnavism, and he created a legacy that continues even today. At that time, although he strongly opposed the Advaitic interpretations of the Advaitavadis, led by Shankaracharya, because the intellectual milieu was such that direct opposition visibly was difficult. It would have just had him rejected. So his doctrine was labeled as Vishishta Advaitavad. Advaita, yes, that is true, that we are non-different from the law or non-different from Brahman, but there is some difference also. Vishishta, it is qualified oneness. Vishishta, special kind of oneness. Now, among the very many works that he wrote, his most intellectually defining work is his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, Shri Bhashya. So now in this commentary, he just rips apart the Advaitic misinterpretations of the Vedanta Sutra, and he has set such an example of intellectual scholarship used in the service of the Lord, that many of his arguments have continued to be used even today. Baldev Vidyabhushan uses many of his arguments in his Govinda Bhashyam, and Srila Prabhupada also used many of his arguments in the Bhagavad Gita, especially Prabhupada's argument in 2.12, Natvevaham Jatu Nasam, how this points to the eternality of the soul, and this eternality is not conventional but transcendental. That argument comes directly from Ramanujacharya. It is quoted by Baldev Vidyabhushan, it is quoted by Srila Prabhupada. So he said, a vibrant example that has become a tradition of determined intellectual establishment of the glory of Bhakti and of the glory of Bhagavan. So Ramanujacharya showed through his phenomenal scholarship that Bhakti is not just about sentiments and sentimentality. Yes, sentiments are important, and there are many inspiring pastimes when Ramanujacharya is shown as having extraordinarily elevated devotional sentiments. But along with that, he also they demonstrated the vibrant balance of the head and the heart. The head used in service of the Lord and the heart used in service of the Lord. Both were devoted to the Lord. And his legacy was continued by many great acharyas, especially Vedanta Deshika, one of his most prominent followers, is often called as Tarkacharya, the crest jewel among logicians, the greatest, very celebrated acharya. Now, Ramanujacharya, he actually countered Advaitavad, and he took the historical trajectory onwards towards revealing the essence of the Vedantic wisdom. He brought Vedic wisdom at large and specifically the Vedantic wisdom at large in Pacific. So, in one sense, if we could consider his contribution, what is the meaning of Vedanta? That Advaitavad takes its meaning to one extreme, and Ramanujacharya brought it to the medium state of Vishishta Advaitavad. Madhvacharya took it to the other extreme of Dvaitavad, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought it back to the middle balanced state of Achintya Bheda Bhed. So Achintya Bheda Bhed is actually very similar to Vishishta Advaita, and it is further development, theological developed version of Vishishta Advaitavad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya down to Srila Prabhupada offer the highest respect to Ramanujacharya for the phenomenal contribution that he has done in systematizing bhakti, in providing a theological foundation for bhakti through his phenomenal scholarship, and by setting up a living tradition whose gifts continue to enrich the world even today. Sripad Ramanujacharya ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.